Hey, Crystal Maiden here, and welcome to part 4 of Sonic Adventure 2.
Sheesh. There always seems to be a lot of police around when you don't need them. Tails,
I
you
love
use
that
it?
line. It's so weird coming from Sonic, but at the same time, it's so perfect. The way his performances and everything.
The emeralds into outer space. Outer space?
That's a delayed reaction. She should have said that right after he finished his sentence.
Knuckles.
Hey guys, long time.
Well,
no
it sure is a
see.
coincidence that he
I must have got
somehow
lost in the
managed to
mines.
get right
Looking for the
here
Master Emerald
after
pieces
leaving the
was tougher
mines.
than I thought it would be. Where are we anyway?
He's not very
Hey,
surprised
where
at
you
seeing them
going?
either.
Move aside.
What is she doing?
I managed to find the
Why does she want to go into the manhole?
president.
This is never explained.
I'm following the president's limo right now.
How did you do that?
If we get into the limo, we can trace the call to find Eggman.
Okay, let's meet up there.
It kind of looked like he was talking to a TV remote there. And now we come into...
The president.
You're gonna be surprised by this.
Let's go.
This is one of my favorite sections in the game. I love how thrilling and exciting this is. I love how much faster you go than in the bumper car areas. For people who are having trouble with this, what you need to do to turn better is let go of the A button and then immediately start holding it again. That'll get you into a drifting mode where you can do turns a lot better. Like, you turn pretty well, to be honest. The turning doesn't seem very good if you aren't in the turning mode, but at least there actually is one. There's so many different things that I think make this better than the Twinkle Circuit thing in Sonic Adventure 1. For starters, you are fast right from the get-go. There's no bullshit where you have to spend a really long time getting rings, and only then can you be fast. No, you're fast right from the very beginning. Second off, they give rings another purpose, because when you get enough rings, you get a boost. And there's also a little strategy involved. You gotta boost at the right times in the part of the level design that's going straight, because otherwise you might boost into walls. And these ramps are pretty fun. And another thing that I like better, you hit the cars and you don't get stopped by it, and you don't lose your rings or spin out or get your momentum killed. You hit the cars and you just keep right on going, and there's no enemies anywhere.
Almost, Sonic. Just a few more minutes.
It's a pretty cute friendship moment between them. But anyways, I just love this so much more than the bumper cars from Twinkle Circuit. When people try to say that this is awful and unplayable, I honestly don't know what game they were playing. This is such a thrill ride, and I love it. One of my only complaints is that I don't like how they play the exact same music for every time that you're in a racing stage. It's like, would it kill them to get a new track already? It kind of gets, I mean, it's pleasant to listen to, but it kind of gets repetitive. But you probably noticed that there's a timer. Well, technically you make laps, but it's not like you're going through the exact same level sign over and over again, like you're actually making laps. It's more like you cross a finish line or something, and then you get more time. I've never ran out of time in the regular mission for this in the story mode. I mean, I hate the mission where you can't run into walls or hit 8 cars. Like, those are 2 separate missions. And they're pretty difficult, although getting to turning mode makes it a lot easier, to be honest. And the mission for hard mode is actually pretty easy to run out of time in. I really hate the end section where all you're doing is driving straight, and it's really boring and uneventful until finally it decides to end. Like, I hate that section, but that's about all I ever hated.
The country is in turmoil.
I like it more than treasure hunting levels. I like it more than the mech levels. It's a lot better than people give it credit for.
Mr. President,
I even sort of like it better than the Sonic levels, because with the Sonic levels, I'm constantly annoyed by the fact that they're not like in SA1 where you can take shortcuts from spin dash jumping.
What is it that you want? Dr. Eggman?
Well, let's just get
video quality here because,
You are a very
I mean, he's broadcasting from space, so it makes it seem a lot more like he's broadcasting from space.
Make no attempts to resist. Otherwise, your country will cease to exist. You have 24
Notice how he
hours
said
to
country and not the world. So it doesn't make any sense that he wanted to destroy the entire world, because how would he build his Eggman Empire then?
What the heck's going on here?
But in a later game, in Child of the Hedgehog, they use the Eclipse Cannon on America, and it doesn't destroy America entirely, it just destroys the White House. So that's all Eggman would really do, isn't it?
Space colony arc.
Not sure how you figured that out, but Tails is a genius, so.
Wait up, Sonic.
Hey, you,
Mr.
wait!
President, we're receiving an incoming signal from our
The secretary seems so annoyed there. She sounds like she's saying it through gritted teeth.
I saw Eggman go inside the pyramid. And more important,
When?
I saw
You were
that
with them the
Batman
entire
go
time.
inside
And
with
how is
him
it
as
more
well.
important that
You
Rouge
saw
went
them
into
too,
it?
right?
Yeah.
When did you see them? This is the first time you've been here in the entire story.
All right.
I'll go and find the entrance.
And the characters all just appear here, with no real transition. This is because they removed hub worlds. And honestly, I prefer not having hub worlds. I prefer just going from level to level immediately. Like, that's a lot more Sonic-like. And they really couldn't have hub worlds in a plot like this, where the characters are going all over the world and even out of the world. So they can't have the game have hub worlds, because it's not like they're restricted to just one small area. So that makes a lot more sense to me. It's just annoying that you don't even see a transitionary cutscene where all the Sonic heroes, I guess, are riding on the plane and they get to the desert. They just appear in there. And it doesn't look like the Tornado 2 plane has enough seats for everyone. But anyways, this is Hidden Base. This is one of my least favorite mech levels in the game. I hate how you can target that thing. That yellow projectile that shoots out at you. Why are you able to target it? There's no benefit to hitting the projectile at all. I hate the fact that the targeting system can decide to target inanimate objects that don't hurt you or anything, so there's no benefit to it. And there's so many instances where you're flying across quicksand, and then the flying enemies will suddenly appear in front of you, and if you run into them, it can knock you back. And sure, you can start hovering again a little bit afterwards, but they can still knock you into the pit. Like why can you target those flags? I don't even know if that gets you points. Probably not very much. And something I haven't talked about yet is the life bar. This is easily my least favorite part of the mech gameplay as a whole. It's the life bar, because it makes it a lot easier to die. With Gamma, it was simple and Sonic-like, you know? You had rings, and when you lost rings, you die if you got hit without rings. I hate that enemy, because it has those things that surround it, and you hit those things instead of the actual enemy. How's that good design? Great targeting system there. And again, it's easy to not realize how bad your jump is. So it's easy to die in the platforming sections and stuff. Because you expect to jump further, you know? There's actual badniks here with animals in it and everything. And this makes sense because this is Eggman's base. There's Eggman's base is everywhere. So it kind of makes it silly that Eggman said that they'll never find his hidden base, even though he put his base everywhere. But you only see Eggman's base when you actually get inside the base. So it's not like you can see it from outer space. Although he has flags with his... I don't know. This is one of the levels that really shouldn't have existed, because why can't Tails just fly over this with his plane? This level takes place outside, and the goal ring is outside. So there's no reason... It's easy to run into that enemy because it's really small, and it's kind of hard to hit because the mech is so tall and above it. So I really don't think that that enemy should be in the mech level. See how hard it is to deal with those guys? god. And you don't jump very high either, so good luck trying to jump up there. I don't think I mentioned this in SA1 Let's Play, but when those Kikis throw bombs at you, you can't actually throw the bombs back at them. Kind of pointless though. And it kind of feels like it's padding that you can't just shoot the containers once to destroy them. You have to shoot them multiple times. I mentioned in SA1 that the Eggman model was pathetically awful. Like, it was just awful. Thankfully, Eggman has a much better looking model this time around, both in cutscenes and when you're playing as him. And this makes sense because he's a playable character, so he should have a good model.
I did it!
Although, one thing that annoys me about Eggman's model is that when he's talking, his mouth is, like, the top half of his head moves upwards constantly, like a puppet when he's
That was
talking.
a little tough.
It's really weird. I mean, at least he doesn't talk through his teeth anymore, but it's still kind of weird. This is the worst part of the game to me. Like, the reason that I'm showing you this recap is because I decided to take a recording break and wait until tomorrow. Because the desert area is really the most exhausting part of the game for me. I don't like this part of the game at all. Also, the recaps are a lot better than they are in SA1 because they're longer. And so they don't last 2 seconds. I think there are videos on YouTube that show off all of the recaps, so I'm not going to waste my time showing off all of them. I won't be able to commentate anyways, so. I love the music of this place. Although this is another theme that sounds at its best in the context that it plays in. Like, I love the soundtrack of this game. Honestly, I think this game's soundtrack has the most gems out of any Sonic game so far. But a lot of its music sounds best in the context that it plays in. So I don't go back to listen to the music of this place unless I'm actually playing the level, which I don't do very much because this level sucks. I mean, there's fast parts, there's loops and long switches of land, but then you have these things. The bounce attack is basically a ripoff of the bubble shield from Sonic 3 Knuckles, only it doesn't protect you or make you immune to drowning. And the bounce attack reappears. I love doing that. I love how you can abuse Omochao in retaliation for being annoying. Like, that's really funny. And even calls you out on it too. It's like the developers knew that Omochao was going to be annoying. So why didn't they just bring back Tikal then? God damn it. And look, Gamma's back. Although it's not actually Gamma, it's just his model. Like, Gamma, as we know, is dead. We're never gonna enjoy his gameplay ever again. And those things are annoying. They can just grab you. I don't really like the bounce attack in this game. Like, I don't like how you have to use it multiple times in order to get enough height. Like, the whole staircases that force you to use something kind of feels like it's not very Sonic-like in level design. Pyramid Cave is kind of a... I don't like the gimmicks that it has. I don't like this gimmick. It's not very Sonic-like. It's kind of slow-paced and stuff. I mean, at least you don't have to do this under a time limit, because that would suck. And at least it's lenient in that you don't have to place it on the exact center where it's supposed to go. Like, it'll just magically float over to where it needs to go. In order to get a high rank in this place, you have to jump through those hoops a lot, because that'll get you point bonuses. But it's harder than it sounds, so I don't really bother. Cheap! Bullshit! Why is there a hole there, and you fall through it, and you have to redo the entire section all over again? I hated that. I mean, I like spin dashing through the wall-filled areas and stuff. Like, that's pretty fast and fun. But I just don't like how you constantly go to the ceiling when you don't want to. And then you fall off the ceiling, which kills all of your momentum. I mean, I like the song that plays here. And probably why a lot of people love this level. Like, I love the harmonica. No, it's not harmonica, it's a accordion. Like, there's an accordion, and that somehow manages to sound desert-like. Usually, you hear Arabic instruments for desert, but this is pretty unique. But I don't like these hourglass timed puzzles. It's like Sandopolis all over again. Although, it's a lot harder to screw up the time puzzles here, I guess. But finally, it's over. I mean, it has its fun to it, but I don't like the slow pace gimmicks to it. And the pressure
No problem.
to run under the closing doors just in time, because otherwise they'll close on you and you'll have to backtrack and try again. See you for the next part.